it's another mission from OFCRA. Let me go ahead and look at my audio levels here. They've been a little... yeah, recalibrate those a little bit, make sure we're not peaking anywhere. That should be okay. And I think we're good. Let's go ahead and shoot some predictions here. FNF match. This is OFCRA. Let me actually look at the sides here. let's actually have a look at everything here. So if I were to grab the right up. Okay. There we go. So yeah, it's literally just do Blue 4 versus Op 4 here. Alright, that's fine. Debating. We'll set it for 20. Yeah, 20. Why not? We'll go from there. Assetto Corsa Evo. What's that? Shark, if you don't mind me asking. I'm actually not familiar with that one. How you doing, Waldo? It's been like 4 years since you caught me live. Much love. Hope I'm healthy and well. Yeah, man, we're just doing the daily grind. There's always something going on, but, you know, we try to make everything work. You know, hold on. That was not what I wanted. Wanted to switch my music, not have it bug out like that for half a second, but that's fine. Yeah, let's play something more action-themed. Excellent. Alright, so if I were to make a guess, it looks like Blue 4 spawning on the northern side, Op 4 spawning to the south. They've got access to that position here. We have another position that's highlighted in blue down there as well. Interesting enough. Drunk Fireman, thanks for the 38-month resub, buddy. Hope you keep enjoying the operation, so we get a nice kick out of this scenario. I'll locally mute myself. And let's go ahead and have a look at everything here. So, there's multiple neutral objectives here. Whoever has control of the FOB, which is this location, by the 50-minute mark is going to gain 2 points. Whoever controls the village of Salam by the hour 15 mark gets another 2 points. And then whoever has the mosque zone by the end of the game is going to get 3. So Blue 4 definitely going to be playing defensive here. Blue 4 also have to capture this zone within the 45-minute window here for a bonus point. I'm not sure if that's worth it, considering all the other zones are worth, like, you know, double to triple that. And then there's a survival bonus if they have at least 8 people alive by the end of the game. Meanwhile, Op 4 have to capture this zone by the 45-minute mark to gain a point. I'm gonna be honest, I wish those were worth 2 points instead of 1, because all the other zones being worth, you know, 2 or 3 points, it doesn't really add up, you know what I mean? So I could see both sides just completely negating those two sides themselves and not dealing with it at all, and instead just going right for the purple zones. Blue 4, though, probably going to be divided on holding Salem and the FOB here. Probably no rear security for the mosque, because otherwise I would like divide them up too much. Op 4 could utilize that and completely flank around. It's tough call to make here, because if there's 5 different objectives that Blue 4 has to fan out to cover, compared to Op 4 trying to assault, that could really... I mean, it's really anyone's game at that point, but Blue 4, I would say, just have to hold 2 of the zones, prevent Op 4 from getting into that zone, but even then, a bonus point, I mean, it's not going to affect that much. Maybe... what's the supremacy bonus? Is that 1 or 2 points? Let me look. It's 1 point as well, so... if Blue 4 just play purely defensive on the purple zones, I think they'll be okay. Ready to, like, basically leapfrog the FOB zone back to the mosque, but at that 40 or 50-minute mark, I genuinely think that Blue 4... oh, Op 4 is going to probably be able to get in there in time and actually do some attacks, so it's hard to say. It's a racing sim, but with a shit ton of mods. That's fair, Shark. So it's basically the Arma 3 for racing games. No, that would be a bad example. Gary's mod. Well, then again, any heavily modifiable game would be like that, you know, but I guess we'll just go with that analogy and stick with it. Anyway, I hope you're all enjoying your Thursday. We got 2 offs today. Well, no, 2 streams today, this, and then something later in the evening. We got about 110 people on for this one, and we'll just have to see how things go. I think overall, if I were to put a flat call based off of the map, I think I'd be leaning blue 4, but I mean, OFCRA can also, if they keep all of their forces together, I could see them basically pushing for Makan to hold that position, put a side force up to this one. The real difficult part, though, is going to be all this open territory with blue 4 holding all of these fields and then holding against them. That's going to be tough. But we'll see how things go with all of that. Missed a funny moment when we got back to the base camp. I just casually turn around and shoot the surviving game warden. Oh, God. Yeah, what from last night's, like, I meant it to be a small little funny op, but it turned into just this absolute meme fest. And you know what? I'm not apologizing. That was pretty funny. Like, with everything that happened, I think that was one of the funniest ops I've seen in a hot second. In all honesty. Kind of. It wasn't meant to be insanely moddable, but some Russian guy made a mod manager. Gotcha. Would we technically equate that to GTA 5 then? Because I don't think GTA 5 was ever meant to be super moddable. I think Arma as a game was also never meant to be super moddable. It just kind of all happened that way, you know? I think a lot of games are like that, actually. I mean, I was playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, like the OG 2005 version with Dante earlier today. And we modded it and started just blasting each other for funsies. That was pretty funny. But I think that's just how it goes these days. I'm going to be honest, modding... Here's what I've learned about modding. As someone that's been, you know, big in the Arma sphere. Modding is a great way to increase the lifespan of your game and get more revenue for your component of the game long term. However, it is a massive slippery slope. Because if modded content for another game IP from a very aggressive company is introduced in your game, they will absolutely go after you as an entity, not the modders, and you basically have to force compliance, and then like write these statements to say, hey, you're not supposed to do XYZ, and then at least somewhat enforce it. Otherwise, those companies can then take you to court, and that's actually happened multiple times with Arma 3. Not the whole actually, God, I don't know if anyone remembers, but the original swap mod, like I want to say back in 2019, getting purged because it was rumored that Disney put pressure on Bohemia. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but you know, can you imagine if anyone like made Nintendo mods for Arma 3 for whatever stupid reason? I would be willing to bet you that Nintendo would probably go after somebody for that one, since they go after everybody else. But it's a fine line, and I kind of hate to see that because, again, modding is a great way to extend the life of your game and bring other people into the community. Just look at what, you know, DayZ mod was in Arma 2 compared to DayZ standalone, and that game was released over a decade ago as a standalone, and it's still big, you know, compared to, or was it a decade? Was it 2015? It might be a decade. Arma 3 is the one that's over a decade old. But, I mean, these games are still active with at least, you know, thousands to tens of thousands of players. What I am interested to watch, though... Oh, they're going to restart with a correct version. That's funny. What I am excited for, though, is the news I've seen stating that... What was it? Reforger is hitting its highest player counts of all time. I'm going to be honest, I don't have a lot of plans for Reforger, but I did make a promise to some buddies in the 506 that I might come back and play ops with them one day. So I am going to start looking into my schedule to make good on that promise, to at least show you guys a little bit of, you know, the modding capabilities of Reforger itself. So we'll bring that back, but it'll be in time. So I'm not sure if you saw that message on the bottom left, but they were basically saying they're doing a quick restart on the server because they loaded the wrong mission version. I'm going to be honest, that probably happens in OFCRA at least once every 2 months where they get the wrong mission version down. If you guys remember, I think it was a month or so ago, it was before their winter stand down, there was a mission where respawns were broken, so it would respawn you as a vanilla unit. That was pretty funny. But yeah, it's always fascinating as a, you know, just a random YouTuber or player to watch how all this stuff works. And I'm going to be honest, you think you know in the back of your head when you're at that state, like what's, you know, why people are making decisions and doing X, Y, Z, but there's just there's just so much legal behind everything when it comes to modding, so you just got to be very, very careful. And I mean, was it like a week or two ago where this massive mod for one of the Call of Duty games was about to come out, and then like Activision or someone like pulled the plug on it last second, even though they were totally fine with it? I don't know if any of you are aware of something like that, but there was this like big, I can't remember if it was like a Call of Duty's mod related. I know there was another one for CSGO that something similar happened, but I mean, therein lies the point, you know? Even if you have a team together and you're working on something modded and you get the go-ahead from the base company, you can still just have the plug pulled on you, like, immediately. Or even if you release the product, it can be pulled on you immediately. Like, you gotta be really careful about that stuff. Because it can very much be a massive investment, and then you will have nothing to show for it because, you know, someone with the actual copyright might just pull the rug out from under you. I remember that happened. Someone was making an actual Pokemon mod for Pal World like years ago when it first came out. It made a lot of progress. It actually had a fundraiser and everything, and then Nintendo just went in and said, no, you're not doing that. Anyway, here we go. Mission on for today. We got those 10 minutes of start time. Blue 4 staying on the defense, Op 4 doing the main attack here. Let's go ahead and look at our faction. So Op 4, we have... Wow, alright, so a 2S25, that's not a 2S25, that's a modern, this is like an SU something something, it's basically like a frontal firing gun. I don't think there's a coax on it, but it's, you know, the slotted gun on the tank itself. It doesn't have that top turret. We have some T-34s in play, and then a lot of BTR-40s, some with Dishkas, some without. We also have some MG3 half-track, excuse me, MG42 half-tracks. So we have a mix of... World War II era. Actually, no, it is all World War II era. So we got some MG3s. I don't know, we got some Swedish M45, so a few things post World War II. I also see some AK-47s in play. Interesting. So yeah, it's a mix of submachine guns and AKs. Very interesting choice seeing the Swedish out there. It's a 9mm submachine gun. We sometimes use it during our stuff with the SOG guys. But let's see, we got some Lee Enfields as well. That is quite nice. And then some M1 helmets and some minor body armor as well. All right. We also see some bazookas in play for anti-tank. And I'm trying to see if there's any other assets. We do have some scout cars in play right here. All right. And we have some mortars and a freaking German rocket artillery piece. Nice. Very nice. All right, so Op 4, I mean, I'm actually really excited to see artillery as some offensive equipment here. That's great. I can't wait to see if that'll actually do any significant damage. Blue 4, meanwhile, we've got some mortars of their own. I see boxes that say smoke. Oh, and a few high explosive boxes. Awesome. We got some Bren guns, some M2, not half-tracks, scout cars. We also have a towable pack gun and a 30 cal on a Willys Jeep. Their weaponry, looks like we've got, wow, Uzis. with some L1A1s, or that could be early FNFAL. But that is a very interesting mix of weaponry. So we're seeing Swedish M45s versus mainly Uzis. Interesting. And then I also see a Scopely Enfield over here, and the medics also seem to have Uzis. That's for one group. Another spawn group which spawned directly at the fob. We have a flak gun. This could be an AT calibrated weapon though. So big AT gun to help cover against the ridges. That is quite nice. We have some of the German Panzer Shreks here. So the reloadables. We got some Bren guns in play. More Uzis. Some ammo caches back here with some transport jeeps. No, trucks, my bad. The Willys Jeeps are back there. Trying to see if there's any other interesting guns in play. I think mainly it's AKs for the enemy leadership, and then FNFALs or L1A1s for Blue 4, but it's interesting to see that mix of AT. This is just a massive Hosposh combination of weaponry, and I'm all here for it, to be honest. And then I believe these are Fireflies, or they're the American version, which I forget the name of, but these are basically long barrel Shermans. I'm guessing that they're Fireflies because that's the British variant, and we also see that, you know, they've got Bren carriers as well, but it could be anything. And then, you know, another Bren carrier, the 30 cal scout car, and you got some more debug units back here. Go ahead and looking at our roster real quick. They're not Fireflies? Okay, so it's the other one then. It's the US variant. But otherwise, NASA leading Blue 4 with Wombat, Fiddy, and Lolo under him. Eric leading Alpha with Tackleberg, Zog, Swola, and Ash. Bravo leading, led by Bengi with Mike, Aiden, Nordic, White Foz, and Hawkeye. Henry leading Charlie with Snodge, Perfons, Roofy, T, Goose, and Bursty. Jonathan leading Delta with Mancho, Archie, Flip for Flaprick, Hunter, Azenor, Mr. White Delta, and Rizbo. Oddball leading Echo with Watts, Whiteside, and Killer J. Foxtrot leading Phobos, so actually it just has Phobos and Spirit under it. Golf being led by Alexander with Gerald, Audrey Sip, Gregory, Seismo, Montes, Defoy, and Snuggles. Sam and Lolo being one of those tank crews, and we have another one, so far it's a single player, India, who is going to be in the other tank, and then Twig and Settler, also a vehicle crew, they're taking that gun car. They're the M4A3E8 76. Yeah, so the 76, that's the other tank model, which means the longer barrel, which I think means 76 millimeter, but I could be wrong about that. I can't recall the specific designation reason for on the top of my head. Depso commanding Op 4 with Barros as his 2IC. Gatto, Diablo, Daniel, Mestizo, Diego, Gamble, Aetor, and Newton all together under Anatole, I believe. Celestian, aka Charlie, Kremet, Pogo, Rapasanor, Callie, Cheeseburger, and Dennis. Desire has Rigel, Ivnomain, Doritos, Cuboid, Fact of the House, Logic, PHK, and Salt. Eugene has Kizanorid. Wait, no, Kenzorid. Yeah, I have 2 minutes. We can keep doing this. Geo, an unknown player. Fair, Mario, Tiger, and Klite, or K-Light. Some of these names I struggle with. I'm sorry. The Easy 8, yeah, exactly, Waldo. We got Vov, Nikki, Draper, Darkside, Manga, Kaiser, Sporty, and Bard. We have a... Ellis is already dead somehow with one of the tank crews, but he's got Marvin and Nap with him, so I'm assuming they're going to get respawned. We have an AI player doing the moonwalk over there. That's quite funny. Goatlin, Mr. Cool, and Nubas are all together. Wikicorts, Thomas, Slodziak, and Templar also all together, probably to be the 2 crews for the scout cars. And then Z, Skipu, Grishov, Wenduni, and Maxic are also all vehicle members. I always crack up when I see the AI doing that moonwalk. We saw it a few streams ago on a Across the Fence stream, where it was an AI just permanently like walking in the middle of a hut, which I pointed out, and I thought that was pretty funny. I'm still salty about that stream though, because we only got 19 sites. The record was 20, and we literally sweeped that entire area and couldn't find anything. It's like, whatever. Funny how that all works. All right, 52 seconds till the game starts. We'll have to see how things go. You're right, the short barrel has a 75mm gun, and the long barrels have the 76mm gun. Gotcha, okay. Look, I do my best to try to remember every single piece of knowledge about everything in Warfare from, like, World War I to current day and even some of the future stuff in Arma mods, but there's so much. I will admit I struggle to remember every single little detail. It can be a bit tough in that regard. Alright, so they just raised the view distance, 10 seconds remaining. Again, for those of you that are just coming in, since we've actually perfectly lined up the timer with the game, Blue 4 have 45 seconds to get into this zone to capture a point. Op 4 have 45 seconds to get into this zone to capture a point. And then at the 50-minute mark, the FOB will be cashed for 2 points. Salem will be cashed at the 75-minute mark for 2 points, and then the Mosque will be cashed at the end of the game for 3 points. And then if either side has at least 8 people alive by the end of the game, they get a bonus point. So in total, that means any particular side can get 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. Which, I mean, is a lot, but at the same time, I mean, we're really just going to be looking at the purple zones here. These two are really nice, but they're only worth a single point. I think that's to try to steer Op 4 on where to attack and where Blue 4 to put their defenses out, but I think that might get negated from Depso, who's a very seasoned commander, and then NASA, he's a very seasoned defender as well. So I genuinely don't think we're going to see a lot of action at those positions. Is this one life? Yes. Every OFCRA mission, to my knowledge, has been one life. Except maybe for a random event that I don't remember that they just held in bonus. Alright, mission's looking good for now. Blue 4, we're seeing this massive deployment. They're not going to hold the purple zones. It looks like they're actually going to go for maybe a spaced out defensive perimeter. We also see units going out to potentially hold other areas as well. Hey, Gren, thanks for the raid of 13. How you doing, buddy? Final bet, 88,000 on Blue 4 with 7 people and 57,000 on Op 4 with 12. I'm going to be honest, I would give the advantage a bit to Blue 4 because on paper, without seeing any of these units deploy, they can just hold the purple zones and be fine. But there's a lot of vehicle assets on both sides. I'm really, really curious to see how that Op 4 rocket artillery plays. That, to me, is super exciting. Because we rarely see high-powered artillery in any PvP, with the exception of usually, like, the not the SOG. Okay, yeah, weekly open games versus, like, some of the Russian communities, like Solid Games. When we see, like, the 220-player missions, and they have all that really crazy stuff to deploy. So interesting enough, we're seeing Blue 4, they're going out of the green perimeter on the top left of Amundsen, because that's the map we're working with here. And we just see a lot of units going out and about on... That's a lot of units going this way. And they have to know where Op 4 is spawning, because you do have this fenced-off line that shows Blue 4 can't cross it. So I'm kind of curious, are they going over here because they want to take the mountains and try to hold the high ground? I get that with, like, tanks and whatnot, or maybe, like, a towed pack gun, but I don't think they need to commit a lot of infantry out there. Bazookas should be kept on the short range for when armor comes in, because at long ranges, World War II era AT for infantry was, what, only like 150, 200 meters tops, right? Unless you just absolutely whiffed the shot and got lucky. But that was, again, mainly meant for short range, like, when tanks would roll in streets and whatnot. And you'd have, like, a direct shot from, like, at most 10 meters away. So already I'm seeing some really interesting choices. From all of this. Just trying to wrap my head around what Blue 4 strategy is, because they're actually committing a lot of forces out to this outer flank here. Maybe they're trying to do reverse psychology, knowing Op4 is probably not going to go for this position. They're instead going to go for a wide flank and try to get into the purple zone from any potential side. I mean, you also see Blue 4 putting forces out over here because they're concerned about Op4 potentially going all the way around. But I think Blue 4 is just anticipating a wide flank attack, and we do have some 50 cals being set up here. Op4 already trying to bring some forces in, so this might be our first point of contact here. Oh, yeah, just dropped the 50 cal. Ouch. So immediately you got at least dead or wounded in the back, some getting pulled out as well. Lawn grenades thrown, more 50 cal firing. Some of them waking back up, though. They're only wounded, though. They're not dead yet, but they got a good chunk of wounded here. You do have some of them trying to come around at the moment. Oh, really well-placed grenade by Charlie elements here. That was Henry. More grenades thrown. That's forcing them to come around on the low side here. Additional grenades being thrown back and forth. Blue 4 taking the high ground. We hear some rifle grenades firing as well. That was a rifle flare. More forces being moved over this position. You got Henry now harassing with that Uzi on the flank. But we do see Op4 trying to make some progress on the western side of this village. Unfortunately, the point man runs right into a Brent and is shot multiple times in the head. Oh, tank is now firing. I think that is from... I can't even tell. I would assume it's from the overwatching position up here. Port fire coming in. You gotta remember, a lot of these guys are utilizing either Swedish M45s. Then again, we do have a drum mag AK. However, he goes down as, I believe this is still Henry flanking around. Yep. I think he just got friendly fired, though, by the guy in the second story, but everyone is either dead or wounded now. So I think this is locked down. Saw a delay on that grenade. That's because the World War II era smoke grenades have like a 8 or 10 second fuse and take forever. I'm just wondering where that tank round came from. We do have some Op4 going to the Blue 4 position back here and holding it from afar. Let me check this area over here as well. Yeah, it wasn't them. I mean, we do see a bazooka out. Cuboid has -3 kills. Who did he kill? What? Wait a minute. Meanwhile, out in the distance, we have the SU... Can someone remind me what the designation of this tank is? I remember it's an SU something something, but it looks like it sniped a Blue 4 vehicle and caused a 4-man squad to wipe. And this was an AT team, because we do see that German AT on the back of that player. So that was a good hit. I don't know why those AT teams are being committed on the front line, though. Those are definitely more of like a support asset. Is it? Yeah, it's an SU something. I just can't remember. It's one of the IFA-based vehicles. We do have the pack gun out here. This could be pushed into position. SU-85 rings a bell. I'm assuming you weren't trying to hit the percentage sign and said you were doing pound, but, or a 5, but rings a bell. We got the 50 cal. I think it's trying to fire up on this ridge, but it's falling short. You see the rounds slowly climbing. They're basically watching the tracers. Dishka's now returning fire. Now it's firing over. Yeah, make sure you clear the back of that vehicle so it doesn't run anybody over. Doing a quick check of the map, we have this massive concave attack Op4 is doing with the tank trying to outflank on the far side, another tank trying to follow. Blue 4, they've got this really long defensive line because they're trying to catch any Op4 that are going to come around. But I think Op4's main plan right now is to try to stage out here and then push into the fob, but Blue 4 have just perfectly entrenched themselves to prevent that type of attack. So that's going to be really tough on Depso to try to find a way to flank around that, because if he pushes forces in, they're going to get picked off. However, his tank, one of his tanks did snipe a group of Blue 4 trying to outflank him. I don't see where Blue 4 could potentially be under threat for that. We do have some other elements trying to flank around here and being somewhat successful, so I don't know. We could also see this bad boy get used. This is a loud, loud piece of equipment. And it's got 6 rockets to fire. We also have the mortars set up here. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to go on that hill and then fire from that hill and carpet bomb this village to just go for kills. Because I'm going to be honest, those types of artillery pieces, they work in, at least the big rocket one, it works on a wider area. You don't really want to be precise on it, but for like this position, what you could do with those mortars is you could load a few smoke rounds, range with the smoke rounds, and then just pummel the position with artillery. Su-85, yeah. And I agree, I think the 100 was a later model, but we'll have to see. I heard that engine come on, and I'm like, oh god, is that a mortar coming in? Are they actually going to range those shots? Because this would be a really nice multi-kill to get. Or at least go for it. It looks like we have some shooters over here trying to at least double tap these bodies. And I did see those 2 vehicles driving, but it looks like they're now driving away. I think Op4 is going to try to push infantry from a different route. We do have some tanks on Overwatch on the far right flank, so maybe they can watch those teams come in. But again, Op4 is basically now going to just try to get forces in. Funny enough, again, a little bit of reverse psychology is being utilized. There's this massive gap by Blue 4 where the Op4 objective is, but Op4 is assuming by default that that's going to be fortified. So they're kind of using Op4's assumptions against them and forcing them into a fight where Blue 4 is well defended. I mean, that's a very interesting turn of events here, but it's working out. So you got to give them credit for that. A little bit of psyoping there. And then we also have this massive flak gun back here that can be, it's being used as anti-tank. I'm not sure if he has the range to see all those far back hills, but this is a really good deterrent to stop any vehicles from just rushing up to the fob. Granted, some of this ground coming up to it is low ground, but you do have these big hills on the outside. Alright, so we got the pack gun firing out right here. Blue 4, I think they're looting some of the dead, seeing if, like grabbing that AK with, I thought I saw drum mags on it, that would be a really good thing to grab. Pack gun is just firing out on this smoke, trying to hit the buildings up here. You can hear those rounds actually going overhead. And it looks like they're potentially trying to prep the Neverwolf to fire. This thing is loud. Not like ear-shattering loud, but loud as in you can hear it from a very long range, and you can't tell where it is because it just drowns out anything with its audio files. Uh-oh. All right. That round I can already tell is going to be off to the right. This one, though, has... no, it's also off. Now they're starting to fall. They're going to fall a little to the right of the village itself, so let's hope they correct the fire. This is going to be the splash zone over there. Yep. Alright, call me crazy, but that was not where those two were going. This one was going over here, and this one was going over here, and yet they landed. That seems a little off. Don't get me wrong, I mean, the splash zone was close, but they were off. That looked a little different than what I saw. Not gonna lie. I do appreciate Blue 4 holding this position, though. Now it's just a waiting game. I also have a mortar out here, but I think the 50 cal sees this guy on the mortar, so they're just trying to get him to push off. Oh, clipped his leg there with something. What the hell is that on your shoulder? Oh, God. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? All right, 2 more rounds going out. Oh, they're doing a third. They're doing a fourth. They are now taking fire from that position, though. So, I mean, we just proved, like, these are now going super to the left, so I think they overcorrected, but at the same time, that could be completely different, so who the heck knows? I don't think it would be GG if the artillery on OFCRA gets hit, because we still have the tanks that can do a significant amount of damage from range. And we do see a Blue 4 body. Is that a Blue 4? It has an Uzi, though, but I think that's because they picked it up because that was the guy with an AK. So I was about to say, we might have just seen that get hit, but yeah, no. So artillery got way overcorrected, but they're firing again. And you can hear it from all the way back here, you know? Looking at the macro, we have some OPFOR elements going all the way around, and I think these guys are then going to do that massive flank around as well. But we still have a tank, that's Irma over here, firing into this position from afar for some indirect fire. Okay, I thought that might have been the Neverwaff, but no, that's still landing. Yeah, they massively overcorrected, and they're still completely inaccurate now. I do appreciate, though, they took the pack gun out, and they're trying to get a snipe on these turrets, because you can see them skylining hard right there. I'd laugh my ass off if that pack gun was actually able to thread the needle and just snipe out one of these artillery pieces. The fact that you have 2 golf assets right there and the names are overlapping, that was creating a weird shimmering effect. I'm like, oh God, is my monitor dying? Even if this artillery were to clear out part of that position or force them to rout, OPFOR still needs to rally their forces and actually get close to one of the capturable objectives. So I don't... Wow. All right, that pack gun hit very close. Neverwaff is now firing again. We have a mobile machine gun being brought up with that armored car. Pack gun hit literally inches away from the mortar. It went to its right here and impacted on this rock. But we still need to see OPFOR rally their forces and attempt to at least stage for an attack somewhere, and I'm still not seeing it. Still not seeing it yet. So I think he switched to HE, and now it's, because it's a heavier round, it's got different ballistics, so he's going to have to completely rearrange them. And once again, I mean, the Neverwaff, it's actually inching itself closer to an OPFOR position rather than a Blue 4. So I think OPFOR is completely confused on where those rounds are landing. You got some more machine gun shots being very distant here. I think they're trying to get it on this group of infantry behind the rock. Artillery now firing out there. Again, if they're smart, they're going to be using smoke rounds to range the shots, and then they'll be able to pepper it with their HE. But that PAX HE is getting closer. Started down the hill, and now it's within a few meters. He just needs to nudge it up just another touch, and I think he knows that, so they're going to start backing the mortars away. Which sucks, because I think that mortar they fired was actually accurate. I saw a line land over here. Bro's firing grenades at the enemy. Did you see all those grenade symbols? Neverwaff firing again, but it's going to be off because it's going that way. It's still, they haven't corrected for it yet. That or the wind picked up. It's hard to say. Hey, Eander, how you doing? So, OPFOR lost a squad, Blue 4 lost a smaller squad. OPFOR isn't really finding the resources to push in, and Blue 4 have just been really lucky in stopping Op4's main attack, so that's gonna force Op4 to make a new plan, but we're just kind of stuck here for now. I thought I just saw the mortar flash up indicating it was firing, but I don't know at what they would be firing at because they're not in a position to really engage anything. Then you got this Blue 4 vehicle, I think, driving on the edge of the play zone here. Just heard something else fire. Got all these Op4 just kind of waiting in reserve here, I guess, until other elements of Op4 can find a way for them to move in. It is showing it, Angel. I remember a few weeks ago we had that urban op that it was very slow paced. I don't think we're going to see that level of slow pace for this mission, but it is a bit concerning that Op4 are just kind of hunkering down, trying to blast things with artillery, and they're being slow to move their forces around. I think that tells me that, again, Depso's original plan was basically to go around and do a flanking attack from this oil storage facility into the FOB. But that has been since negated. So now I think he's just trying to adjust his plan, and that's why a lot of his forces are being kept in reserve. One force was able to make it past, but it looks like they managed to flip the Su-85, and now they're trying to get assistance from the other tank. So that's very unfortunate. But, I mean, having their armor so far out doesn't really put them in a position to assist. And I think Blue 4 are now trying to go in for the kill here. You got these teams flanking around. And I think they're going to try to get on the rear of the artillery to hit them and at least close the distance. But I would say Blue 4 is definitely in a better position to assault, or at least win this one. Op4 are too divided, and too many forces are in reserve in other places just trying to wait for new orders as Depso makes a plan. I mean, he actually got injured here, so we see some medical. Now we just have to wait and see. I agree, it is a little too quiet. You still have this front line here between that village engaging stuff on the hills and the hills trying to fire back. What I'm a little concerned about is if Op4 just wasted all of their rocket artillery trying to hit that village and just whiffed most of it on the left, which I hate to say that's usually what happens in PvP scenarios. Like, you would need to... There's one of two things that happens. Either it's going to kill everybody because you give it to someone that absolutely knows what they're doing with it, or it's just wasted and, you know, a lot of silly chuckleheads burn through it without realizing how they need to adjust it. This T-34 is engaging the southern side of Charlie here and pounding this position. He's trying to get the pack gun. There's just a little bit of foliage and a few rocks in the way. Goose trying to find an angle but can't, so he's trying to roll the gun around. However, as he exposes, or as he finds an open firing lane to the tank, he's going to expose himself to the tank and risk getting hit. Though there was a bigger amount of Blue 4 in this zone. Some of them were pulled back, or did they get killed off? Fawns died, but that's been it. So I don't know. I thought there was more infantry here, but I guess they got moved off. Or I'm just crazy. Random suppression on that far hilltop. But you do see in the distance Blue 4 elements coming in. But Op4, I mean, they just seem stunned right now. I think some of their orders, though, are to also prevent this position from being captured. They still want to utilize that. However, we finally see some OPFOR taking initiative here. And we have another squad of infantry coming in. They're going to find this area empty, and that's going to get OPFOR their first point. But they might realize that this zone is completely devoid, and this is where we might see OPFOR push in their reserve forces to then springboard onto these other positions. This could be the lucky break OPFOR needs to push in on the game. They have someone scouting it out for them as well with binos from afar. He doesn't see anything, so that zone to him is pretty clear. I think with this OPFOR's new plan, I mean, we're probably going to see an engagement right here at this rate, but OPFOR can bring all their forces into here and start going into the green zone, where there's a bit more cover to work with. Not much, because it still has open fields, but they can then start moving into the FOB and just start bypassing some of Blue 4's positions. Blue 4, meanwhile, they're trying to slowly encircle this area specifically. I think trying to put a focus on this area and this area because that's where they know they have contact. I'm unsure if they know that this position exists. But that's going to quickly evaporate because they're going to move over to this other area, so we could just see a massive bypass. And then OPFOR is right on top of some of the objectives. Blue 4, though, will eventually have to start pushing back to here because this is cashed in at the 50-minute mark. So at 58 because of that 8-minute safe start. So we're eventually going to see a breaking down of some of Blue 4's lines, but OPFOR need to beat them to it if they have any chance to actually win this fight. So OPFOR mounted up, moving away. Blue 4, we saw them dismount over here and scout in. Maybe because that's maybe because they knew, but at the same time we see them using binos and looking back. I think one of OPFOR's really deadly assets right now is going to be the fact that tanks drove around and now could potentially ambush Blue 4 as they pull back if they find good positions to engage from. But this could still go either way because we're at least seeing some initiative by OPFOR to move in. All right. Either way, I think from here, with the timer going, tough to say. I think Charlie is trying to move from this position. We do see some vehicles maneuvering around. We got a forming up of forces over in that region as well. And the pack gun is still firing out on that ridge. So I'd imagine, I think OPFOR's plan was to literally just hold this hilltop to prevent Blue 4 from going in on it, but now they're going to start taking their reserve infantry and maneuvering them around. And we still hear fire going back and forth. Oh, there we go. Intermission. So I think from there, we'll just see things go up. So we'll probably see the timer extend for a little bit and then forces carry through. Yeah, they just re-enabled everything, and it looks like activity's fine once more. This map is Anize. All right. Anize, Z-A-Y. We have a map command, yeah. Just trying to think. We do see Blue 4. They're pulling back some of their far forces here, so I think they're going to start, instead of trying to encircle OPFOR's position, they already have some forces to the south trying to do this. So instead, we're going to see this element come up and try to do it on this northern side instead. We did have some Blue 4 elements potentially ready to push right here, but they're instead going to do a remount, potentially continue to move in. This OPFOR force, I thought they'd be driving out, but they're instead holding. So this could be, you know, Blue 4 could still find that staging area and cause massive casualties. But it looks like they're starting to remount again. At least they're all going up on a vehicle. It's hard to say. Cal still trying to harass some of the artillery positions up here. Ooh, it actually got him. He's not dead, but he got knocked out, and that is keeping the artillery exposed. But with how we're seeing Blue 4 coming around on this position, look at this Jugglehead. Thought I saw someone standing outside of the vehicle, but no, I just came in, he was fine. But they're definitely going to just do a dismount back here. They could also capture this zone at the end, because I think it's cashed out at the 45-minute timer, so it's 45 plus the 8-minute save start for this timer here. So that would be, what, 53? So you could see Blue 4 just come in with a last-minute attack. However, we still have this tank marauding around. That tank might actually get super lucky here. Blue 4 is going to hear them coming. We did have some bazookas, not bazookas, the German Panzerschrecks on their side, but I'm not sure what other AT these guys have, but if they get spotted, this is going to be a slaughter. I think the tank is instead going to be looking at the far western flank here. Might catch these other vehicles in position. The turned out player here, though, Goatland just got out. He's on the radio. I think they have confirmation of units moving around out here, so some stuff is going to get snipes. And Blue 4 is going to lose a decent chunk of infantry. Oh, truck's holding. Oh, but they're just short. That would have been such a multi-kill. Can they reload in time? A few more hits went in, but it looks like it hit the side of the building. It did some damage, but it got mostly absorbed. Another shot goes in once again, gets mostly absorbed by the building. I think that one went in through the window. Still did a bit of damage. Now you got this massive group of infantry pinned in, and they're the ones with the AT. You got Golf out here. They're holding just before the tank can see them. We got more heavy shots coming in. I would say it's not necessarily a missed opportunity because they're still going to keep the infantry pinned in this position, which is going to allow for more OPFOR to flank over to this area. However, we have, look at all these infantry here, and Blue 4 are coming up on this hill. They hear the vehicles moving. This, look at that rifle grenade. I don't think, but with all of those infantry grouped together and that rifle grenade, what do you think could happen here? They're all in a tight formation. There's the shot, and it hits the rock, and that's going to make everyone scatter. It's because the other vehicle's damaged, so they're trying to tow it. Oh my god. Got Unknown here firing at him. I'm pretty sure he's an AI based off of how he's moving. Someone got run over. Retaliatory grenadier round came in, actually landing close to one of the Blue 4 elements here. Isn't it annoying to get teased like that and then not see anything pull through? It sucks. Now you got this massive dismount of infantry, and they're trying to return fire. Fire by volume at this point. So this group of infantry is now basically pinned here and engaged. This group of infantry is pinned and engaged by OPFOR. They do have this infantry element above, but it's not really in a position to assist. Oh, look at this, though. Hold on. Tank's on fire. I don't know if these guys got it with an AT grenade or a charge or something, but based off of the angles, it had to be these guys. What they did to it, I have no idea, but that has cost OPFOR a tank. Meanwhile, over here, it looks like the Blue 4 tank spotted an Op 4 tank, so Lolo's trying to tell Sam to turn left as it's the SU-85, so it's not going to be able to turn to look. Wait for it. Sam. Oh my god, wait. I thought Lolo spotted it. He didn't. Guys. Guys, the lid. You see, SU-85s, I mean, they're just masters of stealth. Come on, Lolo. Lolo, what is that? Lolo, please. Alright, yeah. Tell Sam. There we go. He hit the gun. Should have aimed for the engine first, but now he's going to try to drive off. Another round hits it. That detracts her. She's stuck. And cooks off. 2 of the 3 tanks are now down, and I think Blue 4 is in a pretty good place. You still have this ambush carrying out. Op 4 is now trying to assault Blue 4 in a fortified position. Blue 4 were able to take out the other tank there with minimal casualties. I think Op 4, they just weren't able to maneuver their forces through the breach that they found. Or they just didn't trust it, and now Blue 4 is just going to start encircling and eliminating. And now we go from there. Oh, Gazog had his AT out. Don't know if he was going to try to use that as a shock weapon, but he gets knocked. He's got an L1. What do you guys think? Is that an L1A1 or an FNFAL? I mean, they're literally the same premise. It's 7.62 by 51, 20-round magazine, single shot. I just don't know if there's a visual difference between them. Op 4 coming around. You got Blue 4 getting taken out. That's an L1A1? All right. To me, it looks like a foul, but at the same time, it's because it looks like that Call of Duty Black Ops 1 FNFAL. And that's the one that's when I learned that a foul was a thing. Because on a hardcore team deathmatch, you would just have to hit someone once with that gun and you would get them. Inch pattern foul, gotcha. That makes sense, yeah. Al is in A1. I can see it. You still have these guys towing things up. They're trying to clean up the remains of this infantry group here. I mean, if they were to disable the vehicle with that AT, that would stop Op 4 from being able to maneuver. So if Gazog can get a hit... Okay. It turns out Gazog got hit. I thought he would notice that immediately, but I guess I was wrong. Ah, yes. The stairwell cam. If I was Blue 4, I'd throw a grenade down there, but it looks like I got caught. Yeah, one guy that just went uncon. It's the medic. Bunch of dead Blue 4 players around here. There goes the other guy, mainly because the MG42's fire rate was able to easily cut him down. Double taps the bodies. We'll see if the top guy here gets double tapped as well. He's going to get left, but I mean, he already woke up once, so... And the unknown player AI is still alive and kicking, using his amazing AI skills to phase through doors. Alright, Gazog gets found and double tapped. Alright, so Op 4 basically cleared through that area with minimal casualties. You gotta give him that. You only have Bard out here who's wounded. I think... Yeah, I think he just got run over earlier and no one noticed to pick him up, and you've got another guy stuck in a rock. He can just paint an admin and get out, but alright. So Op 4's casualties were self-inflicted. Oh my god. Alright, so we have an Op 4 element that's pushed up here. So this is the artillery group that's decided to now assault this place on foot, meaning Op 4 is out of artillery now. Blue 4 left a small garrison here. And we have another group of Blue 4 that are trying to drive out to potentially assault those Op 4 ridge positions. And the other tank was also found and eliminated. You got one survivor out here, but I'm assuming that was Golf over here. So that was Sam and Lolo, I'm assuming? Nope, that's a different element. Yeah, so they have 2 tank kills, and then the third tank was destroyed over on this hilltop. So OPFOR completely out of artillery, completely out of armor. They still have a good chunk of infantry remaining, but fighting the supporting assets of Blue 4, this might be GG already. I'm not going to call it yet, because OPFOR still have a considerable amount of infantry, but... Ooh... You could still see, like, OPFOR route infantry in and then get to the purple zones and prevent Blue 4 from pushing them. But that's really tough to see a lot of armor gone. And there's not much that can be done. Don't cast or curse Blue 4. I'm trying not to. The pack gun is even still alive. OPFOR down to 2 infantry assaulting. They just spotted Henry here, but he's on 2 kills. He's got a L1A1. OPFOR's problems were inflicted by me betting on them. My losing streak continues. Damn. That's funny. A little bit of fire going out on these 3 guys. Blue 4 had another group of infantry. No, so this was the group that took the tank out. And there's some OPFOR infantry scouting down here, and they just ran into them. So OPFOR is outnumbered in this particular fight. 53 minutes, these zones are going to get capped, so OPFOR is going to gain a single point from there, but then the FOB's going to get capped at the 58-minute mark. So technically, if Blue 4 doesn't put any infantry in the purple zones and OPFOR win this, then they would win by default. I don't think Blue 4 is that dumb. We still have NASA alive and a large amount of leadership in squads alive, so there should still be people to run back to the objectives to cap them, but it's weird. Newton coming up to do a flank. Gets a knockout. Trying to go for 2. Resorts to a frag. It gets a good roll. That is going to at least get a kill. Yep. So 3 people knocked out. OPFOR doing this nice flanking attack. Gets a double tap on that frag. This Blue 4 member could still wake back up. We see Blue 4, they were pushing on that side, so now you got this flank here. The trick with the M45 is to basically burst the gun to walk your shots on target, and that's what Newton's doing right here. He got some good hits, but it wasn't a killing blow. Now Blue 4 are in a bit of a pickle with this force. They'll have to call in for backup, but these guys might just mount up and go back to the objectives because too much Blue 4 have been committed to this area. We have another knockout out here. This is what I'm talking about. OPFOR still has a good amount of infantry. This 3-man OPFOR team, now they're 2. Oh, because we have a wake up here. But Nordic is now being blue on blued. Because he woke up and got that kill. Poor Newton. The one that he trusted the grenades to double tap didn't get double tapped by the nades and unfortunately woke up. We have a headshot tap right there by the Bravo lead element. That was Bainey, who now rolls back in because he's getting engaged from the final OPFOR guy. So that might have just ended up being an even trade here, 2 minutes before those objectives are cashed in. He's in a bit of trouble. And he's out. So let's see, OPFOR's main grouping of infantry is out of the position over there. We've got some smaller groups, including Command up on the Blue 4 position. We do have a single group of, I believe, 5 or 6. That's 6 down there in that one OPFOR zone. We do have some Blue 4 trying to rush back for it. Maybe we'll see a last-minute firefight, but I think OPFOR is at least going to get that 1 point. But compared to Blue 4, I mean, we got the group of infantry down here. We had a big group of infantry in that truck now driving out. Another smaller group in that Willys Jeep. Another attack car with the 30 cal driving off. Charlie, it looks like they were able to get those other 2 OPFOR kills out here, and they're now cleaning up the zone. And then you just have some of Blue 4's armored assets. So we have 1 tank out here, you got the other tank out there, so they still have their 76s. NASA is chilling in a village outside, and then we have Bren Carrier bringing some infantry back, probably to take a dismount on the fob, and then you also have a few rearguard infantry just kind of holding back here. They don't have a radio, though, so I don't know how they would let Blue 4 know they're being outflanked. So pretty good encirclement. We see Blue 4, the symbol flashing was there to show that he was double tapping bodies. Blue 4 doing a dismount to push in on this zone. However, it should be cashed in momentarily, if my math is correct, right? It's at 45-minute mark for these zones, and that would be done at, yep, there it is. So completed by East, failed by West, because OPFOR had infantry in the red zone. No Blue 4 were in the blue zone. So that's 1 point on the board for OPFOR. So we can at least say OPFOR tried and was able to score. But now the question is, how does Blue 4 get all of this infantry when they only have 1 working half-track and another one they can tow into these purple zones when there's 2 76s marauding around, and we're about to see the rest of OPFOR get ambushed here. Oh, that is right. We do have some OPFOR scout cars here with those DP-27s. I'm actually impressed that Bainey just turned the corner and nailed a 50 or a 12.7 gunner on the Dishka, and the Dishka wasn't able to get anything. You got some flanking from the hilltop up here. Armored car doesn't know where to engage. I'm going to be honest, if OPFOR continued driving along, yes, I'd agree it was a bad ambush, but OPFOR decided to dismount and engage and pin themselves in a really bad spot, and that's allowing Blue 4 to develop the position further. Armored car's just going to ditch them. Damn. Clever's just going to try to drive out of here. Okay, no, that's not the player, that's the group, so he's dead. He got shot in the back of the head as he was trying to drive that vehicle away. And it looks like Blue 4 had 1 wounded, but otherwise, oh, there was a medic, so that'll take a second to get fixed, but that's going to further keep this group pinned. You've got Depso moving with HQ out in this position. Tank's trying to slowly drive over the hill. 76s are just watching hilltops right now. You got Blue 4 Juliet on that large hill as well. They were in that 30 cal scout car, and they're just looking around at this point. Yeah, Kremit. It's unfortunate. Trying to see if anything's going to engage the car there, but I guess not. What again does concern me is Blue 4 doesn't have a lot of actual site security. We do have 4 guys coming back right here, but OPFOR looks like this group mounted up and immediately drove in, so that's 7 players right there. Though, I mean, okay, so we have another car coming in. That's golf with those 2 players. That's 2 plus 4, so 6 versus 7, and then OPFOR might bring in another set of units. Just curious to see how these guys are going to break out, because they only have 1 BTR 40 remaining. Then you got all these guys. The unknown player was left, but yeah, they're still towing that other vehicle in. But here's the issue. They're towing another vehicle, and they're about to be potential... Oh, no, hold on. The tanks are leaving. I think they're going to move to put place better positions around the fob area. That or they're actually just running Depso down for funsies. Not gonna lie, the gunner might have actually slotted him for a second, but we'll see if he changes. Plus, he might see that other car coming in. If I was in OPFOR's shoes, I would actually ignore that position. I'd go to this one, or rally all the forces in the back because they're up a point. they could at least force a tie game if they only capture the mosque, because that would be 3 points for the mosque, 1 point for capturing the red zone. Blue 4 captures those other 2 purple zones. Wow, the engine, I don't know if they chose to dismount or immediately had their engine sniped, but I feel like that round would have blown it up outright. Yeah, like that. So they're just running for it. Hands over radios. Coax going over Timex head. You got your wish, Archangel, but unfortunately there were no kills. And now these guys are going to be in the low ground to get away. So I think they're telling OPFOR to double down, either to go to the mosque or the Salem area. And then these guys might be towing to get with these infantry to grab the BTRs, but at the same time they're now under fire. So this might be the last bit of OPFOR resistance we see if the remaining Blue 4 elements are encircled. We could see with the amount of OPFOR infantry that they're able to repel these attacks, regroup, grab vehicles, and join the fight, but how long until Blue 4 decides to route a tank over? I love how they're facing that area when in front of them there's another group there. So FOB was just taken. And it looks like OPFOR is just going to go for a tie game with the mosque and potentially having 8 or more players alive, but Blue 4 is going to get that bonus point as well. So I think at this point OPFOR is only fighting to tie. Thought I saw that gunfire. That gun definitely fired. But right now, score is 1 OPFOR, 2 Blue 4. Blue 4 just going to now go to Salem and hold that. These guys definitely going in the back. They're going to probably do a far dismount on the mosque to be cautious about it. But yeah, and then you got all this force back here. OPFOR looks like they're trying to snipe some of the people on this far hill with that machine gun. And that's causing them to pull back, but they have a Willy Jeep to just mount in and drive away with, so I don't know. That's a shame, because we do have a lot of OPFOR infantry that could rally and really help on these zones, but they're just completely out of position. And I really don't know what else they can do at this point. Blue 4 we're going to see go and take that zone. OPFOR is going to go up, take that zone with that garrison of 7. Maybe we'll see some OPFOR either harass Salem and get a few kills to make the mosque garrison a bit easier. But the fate of the infantry up here is incredibly... It could change the game, but at the same time, like, they're running out of time to actually get into where the AO, or where it matters in the AO. I think they know that Blue 4 is up on that ridge because we see them looking in that direction, so they're just hunkered down. But there's 38 minutes remaining in the round. Tough to say. Then you got this force out here doing God knows what. Looks like they found the remnants of the artillery position. But you can see the number Wolf is completely out of ammo, even showing a bit of damage, so the pack gun might have gotten a piece out of it. So we got this group doing the assault here, and then this group, the third, is the ones that, with NR, seem a little confused on where to go at this point. I'm not sure if they're out of comm range from Depso or what, but if 2 full OPFOR squads were to get into the zones, that would make it a lot harder for Blue 4 to put any amount of pressure on remaining OPFOR elements, and Blue 4 would be forced to play for the objective because OPFOR could still win. But because OPFOR has such a massive amount of infantry out of the zone, these guys have literally been over here the entire time. They had that little firefight with Blue 4, which further pinned them. But they... I don't think they're going to get committed at all, to be honest. At this point, OPFOR is out of vehicles to basically push up. And it looks like there's actually some red on red at this angle right here. And now Blue 4 are attracted to that large group of infantry, so they're going to start getting some pickoffs. We have 1 dead, 1 knocked uncon, another dead. Nope, 2 uncon, my bad. 2 uncon and a dead. They're doing medical. I think a marksman's hitting them. Trying to see if that scout car is going to adjust. Nope, that's just irons. That Yeah, it's a regular grenade. That's going to do damage. And then you got Juliet down there at the 30 cal harassing. The panic of T here. I think T thought he was backing away to get hit, not realizing this car was hitting that vehicle. So he panic fired, and then the vehicle noticed him and sprayed him down. Blue 4 now assaulting these positions. Op 4 can't tell if they're going to go for the position or try to harass that one purple area here, but you're going to see Op 4's last stand on the north at the final mark position. Scout car flying around. Most of the infantry up here have been taken out. So I gotta give it, even though these Op 4 have been out completely not committed to engagements, the engagements they do get in, they're actually getting a lot of kills here for minimal amounts of casualties. So you gotta give these guys that credit. It's just, there's some sort of communication error between command and this element here. Good amount of smoke popped out. They're basically just trying to cover themselves so they can work on what they might perceive as a mass gas. We just saw another guy get killed. And this is all being done by a single machine gunner at this point now. Who I think is just going for harassment more than anything. Blue 4, though, they've pushed this garrison. It's down to a 3-man group out here, and then one guy with a rifle grenades who has a -1 mark. So he's trying to get some noob tubes in, but isn't able to find the right angle. Poor man's only got a Lee Enfield, and he's fighting some machine gunners. And he strikes him down with the high ground. Any double tapping shots? Oh, he gets one in, but is unable to finish it because he goes low to where the other dudes are. Let's see if they double tap him. Wow, so he got hit, but was able to fall back into cover before being taken out. Scout car still driving around like a lunatic here, trying to find people to pick off as more Blue 4 commit to this zone, including some tanks. And they're playing chicken with this infantry member. And they hit a rocket. Toro, Toro, Toro! I saw blood. I'm not sure if he actually got some damage on one of these guys. At this point, you're going to want to shoot the wheels out. Oh, the gunner gets him, though. Grenade gets popped to the side there, but vehicle quickly backs away. Gotta give it to this vehicle crew, being very, very ballsy here. But unfortunately, there's 2 tanks coming. These guys have meanwhile mounted up and scattered as these tanks are coming in. Looking at the map from a macro side, looks like Timek was spotted and taken out by these 2 infantry here. He was able to get a kill, though, leaving Depso to be the only one alive, and he's going to move up with his final garrison here to fight for the tied game. Still have 32 minutes on the clock, though. I think Blue 4 could potentially mop up all this Op 4 rally and then have enough infantry to fight for that final zone. Looks like they were trying to take out the one guy up here. He's able to go away. We got some blood, though, so he was limped. And now the tanks are just bullying the remaining infantry. Not a good spot to be in. We see where a tank shell landed and got a few kills here. Uh-oh. I think Templar realizes he's screwed. Gets hit with an HE round and it deflects off the armor. What? What? He what? He just dodged an 8. What? Go, boy! Go, boy! That is a Soviet car, too, yeah. That... I cannot believe that. He goes out in the kill zone. It's a miss! Holy shit. HE did nothing to it. That's the funniest thing. I was expecting at least to, like, cave it in, but damn. Miss. This car is driving for its life. I get it. He's trying to burn all the time. Ow! I don't think you can call that one Arma bullshit, Arnor. I think you caster cursed that poor bastard. Speaking of, it looks like the other one got blown up by an AT gun. Excuse me, an AT grenade based off of the crater of the explosion. And OPFOR has been like 95% cleaned up in this zone. There's only 2 more infantry remaining. Looks like one of the Shermans pushed up though and was taken out. Sam finds one of them and double taps. I'm assuming his buddy Lolo's dead. So Sam for the tank crew, they've gotten 1 armored car kill, 2 tank kills, and 7 infantry kills. And the only player remaining for OPFOR on the southern side is K-Light here with 2 kills. So he's trying to, I think, spray at the vehicle over here. Settler, meanwhile, is going to get on the 30 cal, but the smoke is in the way. Furthermore, Light pulls back. OPFOR Depso's about to get into the mosque zone. But that'll be our final fight, and OPFOR at that point is going to be fighting to tie. This was slow in the beginning. Little bit disappointed with the misplaying of the artillery, but this definitely picked up. I'm happy for that. Blue Force still have a tank and some HE, so I think they could definitely do some damage to the mosque buildings. But with the amount of Blue Force still alive here, the fact that we have about 28.5 minutes remaining, I think there's plenty of time for Blue Force to rally their forces. Like this group, what they'll do is they won't go to Salem, they'll just rally up and immediately go to the mosque. Because for OFCRA standards, if Blue 4, let's say OP4's last stand was over here, they don't have a force in the mosque right now. If Knight would, or K-Light, I keep calling him Knight, were to die, they would just end the round early and call it because, you know, Blue 4 would then get the last remaining groups of points by default. There's no reason to, you know, keep the server running. But if Blue 4 kill everybody here and realize that the round is continuing, that means the objectives are still live and they need to go out and, you know, grab them. Because I'm not sure if NASA's doing the math right now, but on the board it's 2-1. But there's still an objective worth 2 points and another one worth 3 points out there, so there is a potential tie game. In the event it ties, by the way, I just refund the prediction. So you got Seasmo up here just double tapping bodies to make sure. K-Light might hear that though and look over, but that's going to be a hell of a skyline. I think he is taking... I can't tell if he's taking shots from... No, okay, he is. Something... I guess someone is definitely trying to blink at him. That would be Dr. Snuggles with the Bren. So he might be trying to walk his buddies up there to take him out. Oh, he's going to get outflanked. But it looks like these guys didn't realize he was there. So Bengi trying to get kill number 5, but he gets hit multiple times. We see a grenade get thrown far, but not close enough. All right, this is Light's last stand. The grenade gets a piece out of him, and he is cut down by 2 more infantry. Good try. All right, and with that, the final fight is going to be for this mosque. In a situation like this, I would normally just wrap the stream up. However, there is still the potential of a side tie. What's going to matter now is how quickly Blue 4 can rally their forces in to the mosque with about 26 minutes left, because the 1:38 mark here will be the end of the game. So 38 minus 12 is 26. The question is, does Blue 4 have enough transport assets to get up there? I think they can put some people on the 76. We do have the non-disabled half-track that could also be utilized. There's a gun car here, but it can only take 3 people. I don't know, guys. So what happened to the tanks? OP4 had one tank get taken out by an AT grenade over here, and then 2 other tanks get sniped by one of the 76s. That 76 actually is dead. I think Sam is the only one still alive. Lolo, I know, died in the tank. I don't know where Sam went. But he's over here with Hotel. He's found an AK, but you can see his kill record here. Also got one of the 2 armored cars, and then the other armored car, that could have been a BTR-40 as well, but OP4 lost one of the armored cars up here, and another one got sniped by the tank down there after the tank was desperately trying to get the hit on it. But Blue 4's remaining tank, the remaining 76, is right there, still alive. We also see NASA bringing up one of the armored cars as well to potentially pick up more infantry. I'd say it's going to take them probably another 1 to 2 minutes to get up there, and then another 5, 8 at most to get Blue 4 up to there. So that's going to be, what, 10 minutes tops? For the twists and turns of the desert and going off-road, I'll give it another, like, 3 minutes. So that's 13 minutes. That would put that up to 26. That means there would still be 12 minutes to actually fight in the mosque. And I think Blue 4, considering they have a 76, considering they have a massive number advantage at the moment, and then some of those infantry are also going to start leaving Salem and going into the final mosque zone, I think there's still a pretty big chance Blue 4 can kill the remaining OP4 members and induce a tie. I believe this one gets cashed out at the 75-minute mark, which would translate to the hour 23-minute mark because of those 8 minutes of safe start. I think that was just a random shot here. Yeah, they're just shooting out lights and messing around. Okay. What are they shooting at? So basically in a little over 8 minutes, you're going to start seeing them move out. What slightly concerns me is what? They're leaving. Maybe they're going to try to get into a position to ambush the Blue 4 garrison that's going to come in. That's the only thing I can think of, but that is incredibly risky. They could go for the other objective, but it's going to be cashed out in 8 minutes. I don't think they have the time to maneuver all of this on foot in 8 minutes. They might go for it, realizing that the worst they can do is, or the best they can do is tie, but it's very, very late to make that call. You know? I don't agree with this because I feel like this is just going to whittle down more of OP4's limited manpower, because the other force is going to be the ones they have to worry about, because these are going to be the guys that are ordered to leapfrog up to this other position. So I feel like this is an example of OP4 potentially defeating itself in detail. If they wanted to make this call, they should have made it at least another 5 minutes earlier to give them transition time, because this... Oh... 6.5 minutes before things are calculated. I see why Depso's doing it, because he realizes, again, the most he can do is tie here, but in his mind, I think he's thinking, okay, there might just be a small garrison of a few guys here. We can easily clean them up, take the point, go back, take the final point. And that kind of reinforces the fact that he didn't have comms over here to realize that a big chunk of his infantry just got slaughtered. But I mean, look, we already have a tank and a car bringing a small, like, 5-man element up. They're going to go right for the mosque. And that wouldn't have been a threat. Well, except for the tank, but with only 1 or 2 guys out here now, that could easily retake the position. But again, Depso's limited to the knowledge that he has only been given from his allies, and if that was never transmitted, then he's just SOL. It will be cashed in about 5 minutes. Actually, less than 5 minutes. No, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 10 seconds. I'll give him credit, though. These guys are not expecting to be attacked right now. 20 minutes left, so, yep, 5 minutes left on that. It's the 8-second mark where things are cashed in, so. You hear the armor coming in as well. Maybe OFCRA is going to get lucky and they're going to be ordered to go to Salem and then push in. You also see other OFCRA elements going out on different angles. They're only leaving Kuboid because he's AFK, I think, with -3 kills. Okay, team killer. If we leave you alone, that means anyone that comes in these doors, you can shoot at them, okay? All right, OFCRA made it to the edge of the zone, but I thought the zone was only in this area right here, but it looks like it's much bigger, but they don't even have the numbers advantage. And they've started an engagement. Maybe if they knock out enough blue for, they can cause this zone to not cash out for anybody specifically. If both sides have a big amount of players, I think it just prevents the zone from being captured by either side. So maybe that's what he's going for, so he can then immediately run back and have the mosque captured by the ends. But this is an incredibly risky strategy. Robert, I believe you can. You can just come in as a +1, or your community can come in, but you will be assigned a side. Mortar firing. I'm gonna laugh my ass off if those mortar rounds are accurate, because it's looking. Oh God, never mind. Okay, those when the wind blew them back a little too much. He might hit some of his own guys with that third shot, but I mean, you got to give it to him though. Those were pretty close. Oh! One of them lands in. Damn. Love how Blue 4 just blind fires a mortar and gets 2 kills. Meanwhile, Op4 had 2 mortars and a Neverwarf rocket launcher, and they couldn't hit shit with it. That's just disrespectful. And he's still going. Yeah, so Blue 4, I mean, with the amount they have in here, Depso's doing his best to survive. More mortars coming in. It's going to continue to hit. Oh, they might be under threat. Nope, they're a little to the right. Or I guess north, because right is not their subjective, but... Damn. Fetty Fazbear. Get him! He's running! Fetty, look out! No! Depso killed Fetty. Might have been a shot of 87. Anyway, enough of the bad jokes. Depso trying to do CQC now. He's basically going for kills. It's going to be cashed in at 90 seconds. I don't think he can get enough kills here to rule things out. Saw Demobar there, knocks him to his feet. Meanwhile, Wombat gets spotted by Rigel. AT goes out. I think Fila's defending the tank because AT came in on it from this direction. A little bit of a blue-on-blue misplay there. Depso catches Sam. Is unable to get the killing blow on Demovar. That grenade, I was worried it was going to deflect. I think that shrapnel actually hit him, and Depso gets taken down. Gonna be honest, I feel like Depso should have had Demovar dead to rights right there, but the 45 just decided not to hit properly. You also have to understand there is a vest on with a plate inside, and that could have deflected some of the 9mm. Because I think Demovar was prone right here, so center of mass would have all landed on that back plate and not done a lot of damage. Compared to, you know, 7.62 by 51, which is... that's gonna break through those early level plates. And with that, we're gonna see a cash in 5 seconds. That's gonna put 2 points on the board from Blue 4. Looks like all of OFCRA left the mosque area. And I think this is GG. No problem, Robert. 95% sure this is going to be a Blue 4 victory. 5% sure this is going to be a tie game. But I think Blue 4 at this point with no actual OFCRA defenders, I'm going to switch that. 99.9% sure this is going to be a Blue 4 victory because with no one defending on the OFCRA side on the final objective, they're all kind of trying to be aggressive here. Blue 4 are just going to get in a vehicle and charge in, even if it's last second, but have no one to contend with, and then the numbers are going to get in there. I'm going to be honest, I always get worried when I hear armored sounds abruptly cut off like that because there is a bug with RHS with their tanks, where if the audio abruptly cuts out like that, your game basically suffers a memory leak and instantly crashes. And I'm just like, oh god, please. I already have enough shit to deal with. Can the last OFCRA player, Q-Boy, with -3 kills, channel his inner Adriano and break even by the end of the match? He does have an armor kill, though. Gotta give him that. He at least has an armor kill. Oh, God. It was short. He was trying to go for a multi-kill. The man is trying to noob tube. He just can't get it up enough. I just watched a Blue 4 player get hit by a GL from his own side. That's cute. He is the last OFCRA player. Lolo's trying to push him. What does Lolo have? A Lee freaking Enfield with his scope. That's amazing. Q-Boy's crawling around. We have a retaliatory rocket fired over. Another one. Oh, here comes the tank. I'm gonna laugh if the tank accidentally runs him over. Uh-oh. Q-Boy, his feet were spotted. Lolo gets killed. And Delta gets the kill there. That's GG, Blue 4 victory. Thank you so much for watching. Go operate operation. Enjoy the rest of your day or night. Cheers. We'll be back in a few hours for some POG. Otherwise, have a good one.